Thursday, we're going to try to rescue this bike and return it to its owner, or give it to a needy BSU employee that isn't making enough money to buy a new bike himself.
There's something about him and his obsession with bikes that I don't... It's like, what is he thinking? And does he ever think about me? Sometimes, like when he's in bed, sometimes I go over to his house and I know I shouldn't. If you look in the window sometimes, you can see his bike.
That's beautiful.
He's got a lot of bikes.
Seeing that bike out there, surrounded by swift and dangerous waters, really, encouraged me to just take stock of myself and use my mind, not just my body. You know, yeah, I work out, obviously. It was more of a challenge, an intellectual challenge on how am I going to get this bike in this seemingly impossible predicament.
I was afraid the goose would feel that her nest was being threatened by the bike's presence and would attack the bike eventually. So I was relieved to hear that Dan was going to attempt the rescue. I had complete confidence that if Dan fell into the water, he would eventually wash ashore onto a sandbar further downriver and be okay. The important thing was to rescue the bike before the goose pecked the tires to pieces. Nobody wants to see that.
Now, if you look at this first graphic here, you can see that this is a cutout, it's an engineering term, of the bridge. This stick figure here represents me. This is the bicycle here. This is a tree. The National Geographic Society has not officially named it Bike Island or Goose Island, but you know, there's a lot of islands with geese on it, and you know, do geese need all the islands? I mean, can't we have, as bike riders, have an island? So anyways, we've got this problem, but on Bike Island, you can see here is a representation of a Canada goose. Now, this goose had laid some eggs in a nest probably 2.375 feet from the bicycle. Now you can see that there's risk involved. Not only are geese notoriously dangerous animals, I don't know if you've ever gotten bit by one, but they can leave a mark. But also, the goose is what we call here at the Fish and Game an aquatic animal, and geese can swim quite well, actually, and fly. So you've got something that you know is on land, but it can get in the water and swim. It can fly at you at I think they've been clocked at 70 miles per hour. So think about that. You know, a large biting bird, you know, coming at you at 70 miles an hour while you're grappling with a bicycle. So this graphic depicts me in the water, you know, in some sort of distress. You can see that I'm not particularly happy as the waves are going around me, and so I was trying to really avoid that scenario. If we go to the next graphic, you can see what might happen. Let's say I did make it to the island without getting in trouble. There's that goose. You can see the teeth. They've got big, nasty teeth, and well, nasty teeth. So that really wasn't a viable solution. So what I did, bike hooks that have been put together with duct tape and a rock for weight. some plastic rope. This is a nylon. The package said plastic. I believe recycled. That's what you do. Just toss this that way and see where it lands. Right now. Getting a good swing on it. This isn't uncommon in bike rescue. Be patient. Patient person will end up with a new bike. It's a good lesson for all the kids out there. In this age of instant gratification and your Atari video games, it's important to learn that a little bit of patience, a little bit of thinking will win the day in the end. If I've learned anything from President Bush, it's just that.
I was riding along and all of a sudden I see the bike swinging halfway between the water and the river, or the water and the bridge, and I'm thinking, what in the world is that? So we stopped actually on the other side of the bridge and just watched the bike for a little bit. And then Mary, one of my friends, and I decided to go up on the top of the bridge and see what was going on. So we hurried back down. We wanted to see how it was going from down here, but before we got back down, the cable or whatever he was using to pull it up with broke the bike back into the water before we got back down.
I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go get some more hooks and a better rope. Come right back. The bounty.
Well, we were a little uncertain whether this bike rescue was even legal under fishing game laws. So I spent a better half of a day with an officer in my office here discussing whether or not, his activities were legal or not. We couldn't find anything in the code or the regulations that said you couldn't fish from a bridge for a bike. The other thing, he came close to hooking a goose, so we wonder if that was possibly, a hunting activity. Again, discussing with the officer this morning, we concluded that Dan really didn't break any regulations, and he was okay in the activity that he did.
If there's a lesson out there for the kids, you want a bicycle, you can't afford a bicycle, in this economy. Hey, who can't afford a bicycle? Go rescue one.